Good afternoon and welcome to the daily FX wrap-up with ForexAnalytix. And we've seen some big moves today, obviously on the idea from the administration about letting up on those tariffs and trying to get something restarted. And certainly we've seen a pretty big reaction, especially in some pairs. I would point out for the immediate reaction, obviously dollar yen was huge, but right here on the dollar peso, potentially, let's look on here. Looking at the central bank with it potentially tomorrow to be cutting rates and could see this market really move up. And we did see that. But we've since gone and paired back we have. 1943 was actually the 38% of this entire move. But I think we can push a little bit lower. And I was pointing in the chat room that I thought we could take out 1940 for some weak longs that may have come in very late in the game. And we're on our lows and continue to want to push in. So where can we go to? Well, this is a good area right here. We can potentially see a stretch down to here. Look at that, 1932.5 right here, potentially. Let's go on and... My thought was being because those people are going to be forced to get out of their positions into the close. And let's go on in. But this whole area is pretty good, right here around 1938-ish. But if you want to see if they can get it for all she has, just right above this 1932.5, like 19. I'm actually working a limit right now, 1933.5, in case we just drop the drawers on this, but we shall see. But this is, like I said, here we've also gone and taken out the 38% of this move. Hang on a moment. Right there. Actually, that was even better than what I thought even there. Look, let's go on and let's see here. Push this back a little bit. There we go. There we go. The RCB. And there you see 1942.66, 1943, as Dale says, close enough for government work. 1943 is the 38%, and we've taken out this, and we're taking out this area here. So there's probably some shorts that, not some shorts, but longs that were established well above 1950, probably established closer to 1960. And they're like, okay, I want to get long. And, oh my goodness, now it's down to 9. And this was our bias chart support initially before all the news came out, which is going to be 1947. So as we break below here, they're thinking, okay, well, this area needs to hold 44. Oh my goodness, here, 38%. Well, certainly that'll hold. And they're just being put under pressure. So for weak longs, they're just like, how much lower can it get? Well, the low right here is right there, 1937.7. We've already challenged that. So if we can hit some extra stops below here, there's that 1932.5, which I think is a bit of a stretch there. Anything in here is just going to be I think, very good if we're looking for a longer time horizon for this peso to certainly react. So that's be a good area. I think you could actually see a pretty good bounce right back up on that. But they want to keep the pressure. We'll see what happens. We can always come in because I think people were loving to get long at 1952, and I don't mean that facetiously. So if we hold in here, let's say, oh, wow, we didn't see 1934, 1933. It's kind of popping back up, and now it looks like this mark's going to hold 1941. Okay, would you have taken 1941 compared to getting long at 1953? Heck yeah. So I'm just saying this. Let's see if the market can push it a little bit further, cause a little bit more pain, and see if we can hit this, which I believe would be a stretch down here to 1932.5, actually 1931.9, which is essentially 1932 would be the 50% of this entire move. And we know that central banks are tripping over each other trying to go and cut rates. The other big mover, obviously the dollar yen here. And let's go and take a look at this. We saw a pretty big reaction on all this tariff talk. I won't go into the politics of that, but one side looks pretty weak. Talk about blinking. Oh, my goodness gracious. But anyway, that being said, we won't get into the politics of this thing. But anyway, so we've seen a pretty good reaction here. I've got a level here on the 2-hour chart right here at 709. See right there, 709. So I was looking potentially on a little bit of a blowout at the time. Obviously, now we've had a reaction for the 709. Well, now if we start to go up higher, 709 wouldn't be that hard to take out. So what I'm looking at is 718, which is a 50% of the move back. And we'll see if we can get some confluence there. So let's take a look at this. And there you go, 718. Now 719 right there. And that would kind of confluence right in here, pushing it, stretching it up to 733. You're not too much in the heat. And like I said, my thinking is, and like I said, you know, you never can tell. Obviously, we're seeing that come to fruition here in the peso. But, you know, my thoughts are being, how many people were short ahead of this at 592, 550, looking for moves lower? I mean, we ourselves were looking for, on the buy chart support. I mean, we've had 527, and that's held very well lately. But I said, you know what, can't count on that 527 anymore. We can go and break down potentially to the flash crash low, 464. Well, how many people are probably short from 592, 550? So, and they may have had stops working above it, 628, 640. So those folks are underwater. So my thinking is that the market could squeeze against them. So let's see if we can still push higher potentially. And on a bit of a stretch here, we could make it up to around 730. But like I said, taking out this 710, 709 on the 2-hour chart, that's a good level. Let's mark that off as showing it as thick. There we go, 709. And then we see 718 is a 50% of this move back. Pretty good move. I mean, we blazed right through the 38%, and we're kind of hanging just right here at this area. Let's see if we can grab a little more out of this. I think the whole Hong Kong thing kind of takes it from us squeezing a whole lot. I mean, we could have maybe gone beyond that. But that being said, we'll see if we can maybe just stretch this a little bit further. Maybe we'll get some sympathetic moves in Asia, and maybe that'll allow this thing to push higher. But this whole area here, let's call it 728, 733-ish, right in here. Let's mark this off here. Bear with me. So you can see the 50% got 709 here. It's thick because you can see the different touches. And you can see the market reaction. When initially it first fallen, it took out 709 and then it tried to hang on there. And then we dipped. We came back. We got through 709, but we couldn't get above it. We took a dip. On the rally back, where they stopped, 709. You see all these touches? So once again, I always tell people that's how I do my trend lines. Many ways to skin a cat. Everybody has their own ways. Some people say, what do you put it there? Why not at the high and the low? As I said, I go where the volume is. So I always say, same old song and dance. I always say, how many people sold the top and how many people bought the bottom ticks? But if you look here, here's where all the volume is congregating at. So, 709, look at that. Stopped it right to the frickin' pip. So once again, I think we could get beyond that because it wouldn't be that far. So I think we would challenge the 50% and probably get a little bit above that, and you'd be looking right here down to 728-ish here. So that's what we got here on the dollar yen. Euro had this nice reaction. Now look, we held strong to our buy chart support of 1152. 1152. I mean, we had pretty good reaction yesterday. Our buy chart resistance yesterday was 1211. But once again, try ForexAnalytix. The strength to me, despite all the great analysis of Blake, Steve, Stelios, Gregor, Andre, whether it's basic technical, macro, Elliott wave, harmonics. To me, folks, the strength is in the chat room. It's a fabulous area. I'm telling you, there's some fantastic traders in there with all types of time perspectives. I mean, and everybody shares information. Everybody's very supportive. To me, this is the strength of ForexAnalytix. But once again, I was going to go and say, getting back to this, our bias chart. Our bias chart resistance yesterday was 12.11. In the chat room, we're pointing out, I said, hey, look, this 12.28, I think we're going to have a tough time getting beyond this. You can see all the different touches. I thought we're going to have a tough time getting beyond this because of the other risk-off news that we're seeing, which was, Hong Kong, which is still playing out today. So we did kind of run out of gas. We kind of held here in these 12 teens. We took a little bit of a dip. Looked like this thing was going to be a buy. And actually, I stepped in the lower 1190s and picked it up on the way down. But I was able to add on some of these drops because I thought, hey, look, I'm happy. If this thing gets down to 52, I'll add again. And boy, it's going to be nice. And it didn't make it all the way down there, but I was able to jump out with some ads to come out okay on this, which isn't always a good thing. But I think the way the market was set up, wanted to break out, I think people would be buying the dips. Although it was a little bit worrisome this morning as the news was breaking, certainly things were working against it, which is why I think we're starting to roll back over on the dollar, on the euro dollar. So when we're looking at bias chart support, I've got 1152. I think that's a good area. We've got 1160 as a level, but can we go and take that out? Yeah, I would think so. So this 1152 will be a decent area to go and come in with the idea that, hey, things are going to return back to normal. And eventually we'll see this now. We've been trading in this range really tight, so I thought that we could break lower. And you might even go a little bit lower, maybe as much as, could be even 1136 right here, and I'll show what I'm referring to. Let's see. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. Let's see if we can get this down. I like the 1152, but we've got a nice little zone in here. See that right there? See all these little touches there? So they could take us down right in here. This whole zone, you get long anywhere in the zone, I think you're okay now. Referring to the range, that's what I thought we had here with the dollar index, and I'll show you that on the 2-hour chart. You see, we've been trading in this range here, really tight, and we had our bias chart resistance today at 1189, and you know how big 9789, how big that's been on the daily chart. And we've talked about it. I'm not going to go into it. We've already, gone over that in the past multiple times. You just haven't been awake if you don't know anything about 97.89. But that being said, you can see here we have that as our bias chart resistance, and you can see right in here. There, I guess you can get a stretch up to 94, but we've been trading in this range here. I usually put a little bit of a box, but I'm not going to do that because it's pretty clear where we're at. So we have the ability to break out, and you have to think about it. Anybody that's short and short from a weak position, Blake talked about this morning, selling the lows. And believe me, I've been there. We've all made all kinds of mistakes, but I've had my share of, shorting the low and buying the high. But so you have to think about what the market does. And I'm saying the same thing here with peso, is that the market just punishes people. I mean, like I was mentioned earlier, it's going to push to the point where people have to cry uncle. Okay, uncle, I'm out. And they end up, getting out of their longs. So the same thing here with the cash dollar index. That 97.89 is a pretty big level. I think we can go up to that. We might even get a little bit higher, maybe to this 95-ish area here. But that 97.89 is pretty big. That would probably coincide right there with the euro coming down and testing 50. If we get to 50, yeah, we'll probably overshoot a little bit. Maybe if you want to come in around 45-ish or something, if you're not trying to bottom ticket, but I'm just saying that's going to be a good value area. Because I think as many times as we've had the opportunity to move higher, and certainly we could have done it this morning, you fail again, probably some folks that might have got long from up in here and say, okay, we're going to do it. It's only a matter of time. It's going to happen. We're moving higher. And so they're long from 12.15, 12.10, 12.08. Well, they're underwater. And so we may just want to push them lower. And here's the deal. If you want to, and I always say this, I try and mention this to people. I mentioned this, I think it was about a couple of weeks ago, and I really don't even remember what period it was. It might have even been the euro, I think. But anyway, so you're thinking, okay, I want to be long the euro. Okay, fine. But why are you going to be long the euro right now if you know there's people who are long from up here and underwater and under pressure? Say, you know what? I tell you what, I want to be long the euro. But tell you what, I'll put my price down here and let the market come to me. Because I know, unlike other days, they might say, well, the other day I was trying to get long the euro down. I think it might have been yesterday. I was trying to get long the euro down here. And it got down here to, 64, and it didn't fill me. That's one way to say, okay, I'll wait for the market to come here. Well, you know what? The market didn't come. But today's different. You can say, I can wait for the market to come here. And I think there's a better than odds opportunity for it to move lower because there's a lot of people that are stuck. And look how many times we've challenged 1228. And so these people that said, okay, it's going to do it now. I don't want to miss the boat. And now they're long, long and wrong. Well, let them pay the price. Let them get squeezed, you know, in the wrong place, and the Mr. Market make them cry till they finally say uncle, and then the market can potentially come down here, and you get a good price. And like I said, we don't know for sure. No one knows what the market will do on any given time, but the odds certainly work better for your favor today than they did yesterday when I was trying to see if I could get long at 11:52. Certainly, it seems more plausible that that would happen under the current circumstances. A lot of longs trapped from not way up here, but still trapped nonetheless. Delicad did go and come down. We came after the swing, came down pretty close to our bias chart resistance of support of yesterday, 31.77. I think we'd actually adjusted it today because the market was holding up so well. Yeah, we did. We moved up to 32.08. We had yesterday 31.77. And obviously we moved this a little bit higher to allow for that market to move higher. I think we'd already hit 32.78 when we came on the air. So this was right there. You can see the resistance right in here. But anyway, let's see here. Dollar yen still holding up very well. We'll see. The only trouble, I think the dollar yen could have made it up to 710 easily. At the time when I was up in here, the thing that's working as a ball and chain is this whole Hong Kong news. So there's that flight to safety. Now, like I said, if you're with the thought, and we are, that the market will eventually move down to a range of 101.22 to 103.23, then you might just say, heck yeah, I'll take it here and I'll hold it for a long time. I'll hold it in about another month when things quiet down. I bet you we're down there, but we may be. So maybe you're fine with that. But people that may have come in at 590 and 550 or underwater, they may just be thinking, hey, I can't take the pain. You know what I mean? I have enough pain now. And if I get to 710, sheesh, man, maybe it goes to 750. I'm just saying, when you're in that frame of mind and you're in that circumstance, people will think that. How much further can it go against me? So you'll probably see a bid, you know, a decent bid throughout the day. Now, whether that they can matriculate in the Asian session to move up to above 7, we shall see. But I'm got a limit there at 717, just before the 50%. Although I think we get up there, we'll probably pop above it, and probably get into the upper 20s. Let's take a look here. That's about it. Let's go on and we'll just quickly. We're getting past some time. I'll take a quick look here on the cross rates. Time goes by quickly when you're bobbing 100 miles an hour. That being me. Okay, so boy, did we see some reactions. Look at the Aussie yen. Holy smokes. Quite the big move here. Well, actually, we're seeing it across the boards with these, you know, yen pairs. Look at the Euro Kiwi. After really looking like it was going to Venus, it's finally come in a bit, but make no bones about it. I mean, this thing has been on a run like nobody's business. We've seen gold going and paired back quite a bit, but it has come back, but we're still weak. May have some trapped longs in here. See here on the 15-minute, we had like a little gravestone doji right there. You see that? I haven't done anything lately with gold, although gold, boy, what a mover today if you had been doing it. But when a market's moving that kind of fast and that kind of speed, pretty much I just want to focus on that market, nothing else. So we're getting volatility now in FX. No need for me to jump back into that unless we get some huge dips and makes it a value thing. But the way gold's been moving, you really have to stay on top of this market. Well, boy, have we seen a nice move back in crude oil. And let's go and take a look quickly before we jump out. It's got to be more than 61% move. Hang on. Probably at 78% almost. Yeah, just above 78%. Holy smokes. Okay, got a little level coming in right here. Short two. There we go. 57.45. Somebody likes lime green. Holy smokes. My eyes can't take that. What the heck? There we go. So it's 50. Holy smokes, we just hit it almost to the pip. So you see all the touches? That's why I put mine like this with all the touches. I didn't even see it right now. I haven't paid as much attention to prove it. Look, we hit it. We missed it by just about, let's see, the high was 42 or 43. And we had, this was 47. So I missed it by about, what, 3 pips or four ticks, I should say. But good level right there. Just above 78%. See all those touches there? Good volume, especially those that like volume analysis. Yeah, that's where the volume is. So boom, boom, boom. You can see that right here, here. Basically some support. Did overshoot a little bit to the high right here before selling off to support, minor support here, and then finally break, and that's where the market runs back out of the gas. But that's all we have here on the daily FX roundup. Pay attention to. Let's move into that quickly, folks. Look at this peso, still under pressure right here. So there we go. So like I said, a stretch I'm looking at is 33.5. Well, actually I've got a limit at 33.5. My stretch is 32.5. And you can see the 50% is 31.90, essentially 1932. So that's where we stand here. And thanks for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.